Project 2025 became a flashpoint in the presidential election, the controversial blueprint of sorts for a presidential transition that lays out an overhaul of the federal government. During the campaign, Trump disavowed Project 2025, but now he has tapped Project 2025 authors to be a part of his administration as he prepares to take the White House. So who are these picks, and what could their influence mean on Trump's next term? ABC's Katherine Faulders has a look in our Prime Focus.
Tonight, as Trump's cabinet continues to take shape, there are questions about several top nominees and their ties to a controversial policy initiative Trump once called ridiculous.
Some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left.
Project 2025 is a 900-page policy initiative published in 2023 and overseen by the Conservative Heritage Foundation. It's aimed at reshaping the federal bureaucracy and consolidating executive power under the president by creating a playbook for the first 180 days in office. The book builds off A Mandate for Leadership, another book published in 1981 that sought to influence the incoming Ronald Reagan administration. The Heritage Foundation modernized its policy guide, A Mandate for Leadership, ahead of Trump's first term in 2015.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things, and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme.
Trump naming at least 5 nominees who are credited by name in Project 2025. Tom Homan, the president-elect's pick for border czar. Brendan Carr, nominated to chair the FCC or Federal Communications Commission. John Ratcliffe, Trump's nominee for the CIA director. Russ Vought, nominated to head the Office of Management and Budget. And Pete Hoekstra, tapped to be the ambassador to Canada if confirmed. Then there's Stephen Miller. The former Trump aide led an interest group that advised Project 2025 on policy, Trump naming Miller deputy chief of staff for his second term.
Are you going to surrender, or are you going to follow the example of President Donald J. Trump and fight, fight, fight to the finish and save this nation, save this country, save this civilization, and save this glorious republic?
Miller telling ABC News in July he has zero involvement with Project 2025 and simply made an advice video for students. Russ Vought led the Office of Management and Budget during Trump's first term, a department meant to oversee the president's vision across the executive branch for everything from budgeting to the management of certain agencies. Vought described the problems he believes exist currently on the Tucker Carlson show.
The left has innovated over 100 years to create this fourth branch of an administrative state. You and I might call it the regime, this administrative state that is totally unaccountable to the president.
He could return to the post after authoring an entire chapter of Project 2025, where he argues federal regulatory agencies that aren't under the control of the White House should have less autonomy, writing, "A president today assumes office to find a sprawling federal bureaucracy that all too often is carrying out its own policy plans and preferences, or worse yet, the policy plans and preferences of a radical, supposedly woke faction of the country." He even outlines ways his office could help consolidate executive power, using already existing tools to impose a crackdown on federal spending and work with Congress to pass policy and reforms that would rein in the so-called administrative state. Vought also pointed out to Tucker Carlson that he helped the president-elect to exert executive power during his first term.
The president wanted to fund the wall. We at OMB gave him a plan to be able to go and fund the wall through money that was at the Department of Defense, and to use that because Congress wouldn't give him the ordinary money at the Department of Homeland Security.
Brendan Carr writing the Project 2025 chapter on the Federal Communications Commission. He's promising to hold technology companies, broadcast television and radio stations accountable for what he calls censorship.
They get free access to a valuable public resource, the airwaves, and they're licensed by the FCC. And the exchange for that is they have to serve the public interest. I think it's important that we take another look at that.
And is also pledging to end the FCC's promotion of diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts.
The FCC is going to end its promotion of DEI. We're going to focus on our core mission, rural broadband, accelerating our permitting for the satellite industry.
In Project 2025, he also advocates for a stronger approach to big tech, calling for transparency rules for companies like Facebook when accounts are suspended or banned, writing, The FCC should require these platforms to provide greater specificity regarding their terms of service, and it could hold them accountable by prohibiting actions that are inconsistent with those plain and particular terms. He also wants to address the national security risk he believes TikTok poses.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
Vice President Harris frequently tying Trump to Project 2025 in her political messaging.
A 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever.
Telling voters the policy proposals detailed are what Americans should expect from a second Trump presidency.
I believe Donald Trump's name appears at least 300 times in Project 2025, and it is a blueprint, a detailed blueprint that is about the danger and the detail of what Donald Trump and his allies plan if he is in the White House again.
The Heritage Foundation's president working to stamp out uproar over the initiative after it became a flashpoint on the campaign trail, announcing it was phasing out its policy operations and removing its director, Paul Dans, in the lead up to the election. Trump has continued to disavow the initiative in social media posts, insisting he knows nothing about Project 2025.
I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it.
Our thanks to Katherine.